was getting ready to make myself a new mop. A mop. Now, not a mop for your floors. You know, a mop for when you're doing a mop sauce for barbecue. I like a substantial mop, a big one. And the thing of it is the ones that they sell at the store, well, it has a nice little wood handle like this. Has a little screw on tip, that's nice enough. But then they give you like 20 strings to hopefully pick up enough sauce to mop over a brisket. Come on, that sucker's big, it takes a lot. Okay, and I don't want a little bitty mop, and I don't want a mop that has cut ends. Now, my mop has loop ends on it. See that? Each string is a loop. Like a good quality floor mop will have loop ends, okay? And that's just quality build. And if you've ever used a mop that had cut ends and it leaves strings all over the floor, you have to wonder, what is a barbecue mop made the same way leaving on your meat? Is it leaving strings there? Don't know, but I don't want to risk it. So here's the thing. I've got my barbecue mop that I've been using for years, and I'm about to replace this sucker because, you know, these get old. They get a little oil in the wood, and then the oil goes rancid, and then the wood is no good, and it makes a bad smell. The mop still works fine. The mop is clean. It has been bleached out. It looks good. However, the wood underneath it has, like I said, it's absorbed some oil, and it doesn't smell so hot. Now, one way you can prevent this, well, not prevent it, but at least reduce the occurrence, is to keep it well oiled with some mineral oil. The mineral oil will soak in, won't allow other oils to soak on top of it as much, and that way you don't get that much oil going rancid. But cooking oils, after a couple of years, they go bad, and they give a bad smell when they do. All right, so I want to teach you how to make one of these little guys that's made just like a regular mop. I've got all my stuff here. So what you're going to need a dowel like this right here. And you could get different size ones. I'm using one that, let's see, the size I'll be using today will be 5/8 inch. I have another one here that is 3/4 of an inch. That would work good too. But I like the feel of this 5/8. It feels good. It feels like a large wooden spoon in hand. But this one is a bit long. I don't want one this long. This is real nice because it stays upright in the pot. If the handle's too long, it'll pull the mop out of the pot, and then you've got a mess going everywhere. So handle length does matter, okay? So here's the thing. I want to cut this at about the same length I've got this thing. The old one, let's see here, is 18 inches long. So keeping that at 18 inches, I'm going to cut this one right here at the same length. Now, something I brought out here was a saw, and this doesn't require a lot of tools to do this. It's got a little hand saw that I'm using. I guess I could cut this with a power saw. There's a lot of ways I could do it. I've got a lot of tools that I could speed it up for myself. But I didn't want to do this in such a way that the average Joe wouldn't be able to do it. I wanted to do this in a way that anybody with basic tools can do it. And a simple hand saw is pretty basic, okay? All right. Now the other thing I'm gonna need is some string. I went out and got a bobbin of string. This runs about $3 to $4 for a full roll of string. One of the nice things about a homemade mop like this is heavy. There's a lot of string here. I mean, it's really thick. And that's because I did a lot of strands. And if you're going to do one of these, you might as well make a really substantial mop so it holds lots of mop sauce so that you can get a lot on the meat and you can do it quickly. So you're going to need string, and the string you need is going to be cotton. All right, I picked up what's called some cotton twine, and this cotton twine should do a perfect job. It was the same thing I used when I made this one. Look at the difference in color. And the difference is, this has been used and bleached many times. This one is brand new, okay? That's the difference. Now, the length of the strings matters because you need enough to be held in place by what I call a ferrule, which is this wrapping here, and enough to hang out to hold this mop sauce. So I figure a string that's somewhere around 7 to 8 inches in length is really nice, and that's what I have here. These are about 7 inches long, and I want to duplicate that. So I'm going to take a piece of cardboard and I'm going to cut it 7 inches wide. All right, let's see here. And this is almost where I need it. This is right about 7.5 inches. So it would probably do what I need. However, wanting to do a complete job and teach this the right way, I decided, well, we'll go through the full measure here. So get you a piece of cardboard, something flat that's going to be maybe, a foot long and 6 inches wide. That way you just got some area to work with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind my string around this, and then I'm going to slide it off. Now the problem is that string is really going to hang up on these edges, and I need a way to reduce that. So, and I've never tried this before, but what I came up with was a wrap. So I'm going to take some simple paper. This is just plain white printing paper, nothing fancy. And I'm going to wrap it around this, all right? So, and I'm not going to get it tight. I want it kind of loose, actually. Fold that there. Fold this. And I want to need a piece to go between those. There we go. That'll work fine, won't it? Okay, a little bit of tape. We're going to tape it down. Okay, there we go. So if you've noticed, we haven't done anything real complex. But my idea here is, see how this slides off? Wrap the string around this, slide this off, and then this will easily compact underneath the string to slide it out from within the strings. Now I learned this from the last time I did one of these. I had a hard time getting the string off of what I wound it around. And so I'm doing this year to make it a little easier for myself. All right, now, I need to cut my dowel rod to the right length. Okay, so that's going to be cutting on my line here. Use my pull saw for this. All right, so I have a new handle. And if I remember right, this is the same dowel that I had purchased to make this one with. So it has been waiting to be used again. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take my dowel and I'm going to build the mop head for it. Before I can do that, I need to fix my dowel so the mop head won't slide off of it. Here's what I discovered. Look at this. Even though it was tightly wrapped, it would slide very easily along the dowel's length, okay? So I ended up having to do this right here to keep it from sliding off. And this is cut into a groove that I cut in the wood. And that's what we're going to do first, right here, right now. So I need to do another measurement. So I have a little line. Now I need to build a cleat. And a cleat is simply something that holds something else in place, okay? So I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to cut along that line to make a low spot in my wood. So if you'll notice, this little groove that I made isn't very pretty. However, it doesn't really have to be. It just needs to be functional. Now, if I wanted to smooth it up a little bit, I can do that. Okay, I have a nice little spot here. So what I'm going to do is take some of my twine and very simply, I'm just going to tie the string around to this. if I can get my fingers to work the right way. Okay, we'll try this again. Now I'm going to take this string and wind it around. I'm creating a high spot that the rest of the mop will be built over, and this will keep it from sliding one direction or the other. And I'm wrapping this fairly firm. I keep a firm grip on the string as I'm rotating the dowel. Now, I've come full circle. I want to tie this off to my first string. There we go. So again, cutting off any excess. There we have our dowel rod prepared for our mop. All right, that was easy enough, wasn't it? Now the old mop, I'm going to do kind of a rough count to give me an idea of how many times I made loops. So I'm guessing I went around about 100 times there. Not a big deal. And if it's not exactly like the old one, guess what? It won't hurt a thing. All right, so I want to keep my string from moving around on me as I do this. And for that, I'm going to simply tape this in place right here. Now, the one thing I can say about doing this, don't wind it tight, okay? Just take it easy, all right? It doesn't have to be tightened down on this like you're going to hold it in place. Because remember, we've got to slide this sucker off. And if it's too tight, that paper won't slide either. All right, so I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 windings there. 9, 10. Okay, so I have right there, that's 100 winds of my string. And here's the thing, I've got plenty of string left, and I'm thinking I can make my mop as heavy as I'd like to make it, so why not add a few more? There we go, added another 25 winds onto that, and I think that's going to be more than enough for the strings of our mop, okay? So there we have that part of it. Okay, we'll see if I can get it off of my cardboard. I hope I can. I'm just trying to loosen up the tension on it. There we go. So I then can get my strings out. All right. So here, for the most part, we have our full winding ready to go. All right, so I've basically got a barbecue mop here, but I've got to get some way to get it from here onto this and tied. All right, that's where a little tape comes in handy. Okay, first one. So my dowel, if I get the right one, I'm going to want to have almost halfway down, just slightly short of that halfway mark. In other words, how far it's overlapping onto the strings. If this is the center line, I want it back a little bit. So, pull this over. And this is only kind of, you just got to kind of approximate on this stuff. And do your best. Now, that tape I can get out of there in just a little bit. But what I want to start doing right now is getting this so it's not going to move. And that means I need to wrap what I call a ferrule around my head. So I'm going to start with a short piece of string, and we're just going to tie it, and it's just going to kind of hold things in place, nothing more. Okay, one single string to hold temporarily. And from here we do what I call a ferrule wrap, and that's where we wrap string from one end to the other. And then we fix it so the string doesn't come off of there or out of it. And that is a little trick where we pull the string under, and I'm going to show you how I do that in just a moment. Okay. Now this tape that I used, very carefully, I'm going to pull it off. I don't want to pull any of the strings loose, so I'm trying to hold them down as I go. All right, got the tape out of the way. Cool. This is coming right along. So we've got a start, we've got our string. Our mop is basically made. We just have to get it fixed in such a way that it doesn't slide around on there, all right? And that means our little ferrule. Okay, whenever you're going to do a ferrule wrap, what we do is we wrap from one end to the other. And I leave a little loop of string that sticks out. And that loop of string, I then tuck the end of my wrap into, and I'll pull the loose end, and it pulls that string up under the ferrule wrap. Let me show you how that works. Okay. I want my string to hang way out down here so I can easily identify it, okay? It'll be the long one. And then I want this so where I can easily identify it. So I need to tie a knot in the end of it. After all, there's a couple of strings down here that are loose. How do I know which one to pull? Okay, it'll be easy. It'll be the one with the knot in the end of it. All right. So there's the end of my string. I've made a loop. It's about a 10-inch long loop there, and tied a knot in the end of the string on the end that I'm going to be using. All right, so I want to line this out right here, right where my other string is, which is about 1/4 of an inch in from the end of the dowel, which is right here. There it is, right there. There's my dowel, and we're starting right up above it there. So, simple enough. I hold both ends of that string with my thumb, and I hold it firmly. And I'll take my bobbin, and I'm going to wind it around the string. I don't have to be firm on that first winding, but after that, yes. And I want to try to line those windings up so they're good and even. All right? Now right now I'm keeping steady tension on this bobbin, and when I don't, I press in on what I've already wound, okay? Right there with my thumb, I'm pressing. I'm going to take my bobbin, and keep winding around this. Now if I were to make a guess at the amount of tension that I'm placing on this string, I would say, 5 to 8 pounds of tension, maybe that much. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to remember that each string, each winding, has that much tension against it. And thus the whole thing multiplied times that number of windings becomes rather strong, okay? All right, now, I've hit the end of my winding. So I'll take my string, cut it from the bobbin, right there. Now the end of the string, right here, I want it to go through that loose loop that I made earlier, right here. So I'm going to take the string, pass it through the loop. Okay, and this is very important because this is what actually holds the string in place. All right, now I need to find that one piece, there it is, with the knot in it. And when I pull the knot, the loop comes pulling up through underneath there. See that? So this is going to twist on me, and I don't want it to. There we go. Pull that twist out of it. And finish pulling it in. All right, now here we've come to where that loop is just about to pull the string. There it goes, right up under there. So what I've done is I pulled my winding up under the ferrule where it'll be held nice and tight. So I cut the end of this string. It won't go nowhere because it's held in by compression. I cut the end of this string. It won't go anywhere because it's held in place by compression. Now these old ones that I originally made to hold the whole thing in place, I don't need those in there anymore. Trying to get it, I'll pull up only on that one string. There it is, right there. And then up here, I had the same thing going on. I had another little string that was originally holding it in place. Okay, and guess what, folks? Right there is a brand new barbecue mop for Texas cooking today. I love showing y'all how to do stuff like this, okay? It's really cool. And the neat thing is, let me take this loose string here. You know, as I was mentioning, if you've ever used a mop, any kind of a mop, like a floor mop or whatever, that has strings that are loose on the end, they fray, they come open, and then they get everywhere. So we don't want that happening. And I've just taken all of that out. It's all looped ends, which hold more mop sauce and do a better job mopping. So there you have it, folks. One homemade mop. You ain't gonna beat this one. The best mop you're ever gonna get. You found it right here on Texas Cooking Today, and it ain't that hard to make. Much more permanent. And so you'll know, washing this, wash it with regular detergent, bleach it after each use. Once you've washed it and you get all the detergent out, hit it with a little bit of bleach. That's going to turn it a nice, beautiful white, just like this one. And this was the same kind of string as this when I started. It's the same thing. Plain cotton twine. There it is. Thank you for watching. Please take a look in the comments box below. If you would, take a look at those links I have in that box. One's for Texas Cooking Today, which is the rest of my videos, but the other is for my website, S.A.Trotter.com. That's where I sell the recipes for Texas Cooking Today, as well as my service and some other products that I have. Take a look at that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for looking at my website. Please subscribe, click the like button, and have a good day. Bye-bye. Heck yeah. On my website, I have my recipes. That's right, I sell my recipes on my website, and I do that quite on purpose. I provide free tutorials here on YouTube. A lot of people sell their tutorials and give the recipes out for free. I would rather do a really good quality printed recipe like this, where you have a quality picture of what you're making, a description, what it is, and bullet pointing the ingredients. And designing the ingredients so you know what ingredients are for what. Is it for the rolls or for the filling? You know, in this one at least. Also, all of my instructions are numbered. And often I'll do pictures depicting what needs to be done. My recipes also come with a place on the bottom for notes. It's a great way to do a recipe and to know how to do something when you've never tried it before. Please do me a favor, take a look at S.A.Trotter.com, where I have my recipes in PDF format that I offer the public. Thank you very much, and folks, You have a good day.